Welcome to LSAT Unplugged.
Thank you. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Kaneisha. It's great to have you here with us today. I'm hoping to get some of your words of wisdom on law school admissions. Do you want to share a little bit on what you do?
Definitely. So first of all, thanks for having me. I am the founder and CEO of The Art of Applying. We are an admissions consulting firm. So that means we are a company completely dedicated to helping people get into top graduate schools. So we help people get into top law schools, business schools, and policy schools, combining those to do a joint degree, and then also getting money to pay for it. So that's what I do.
Awesome. That's great. And so when you help them get money to pay for it, does that involve anything related to negotiating scholarships?
It definitely does. So the best place to get money for law school is going to be by submitting such a strong application to your target law school that they then use money to recruit you into the school. So it's not like a bunch of searching on the internet for individual external scholarships. It's about putting together and crafting the absolute best application possible so that they then really want you at their school. And we've had some great scholarship results this season with our law school applicants.
Oh, that's awesome. So
yeah.
I imagine applicants come to you with applications that may not be the strongest they possibly could be, and you help boost them up. So can you give us an example of a recent before-after scenario?
Definitely, for sure. So one of our clients, her name is Zena. She is a young Latina woman living in New York City. She went to a public university undergrad in New York. She had a really low LSAT score because she didn't find someone like you to help her. And so her LSAT score was something around, I know it was 156 or lower, so quite low. But she worked with us, came to us with no application at all. So you say we boosted her up. She had nothing put together. And we worked with her in our application accelerator program, which is an intensive 6-week boot camp, and helped her take her essays from a blank sheet of paper to helping her figure out what to write about in her personal statement and then her diversity statement, editing those over and over again with her, editing her resume, helping her choose the right recommenders. And she was admitted to nearly every school that she applied to, and she received over 6 figures in scholarship aid. So she's super happy. And we actually have a video interview with her over on our blog that people can come and watch to hear Zena talk about it herself.
Wow, that's incredible. And what is someone like this applicant, how do you help them figure out what to write about?
Definitely. So at The Art of Applying, we're really focused on helping people bring out their most authentic story and their best self. A lot of times on forums, applicants will read about, oh, well, you better say this, or you better say that, or turn yourself into this person that the admissions committee will want to admit. And that's not at all what we do. The Art of Applying is really about, just like the title of the business, the art of applying. It is not a cold clinical science. It really is a little bit more of that touchy-feely artsiness of really drawing out her story, all of her personal and professional and academic accomplishments and ambitions, and helping her lay out that story in a way that the admissions committee can buy into her vision. So really getting clarity on that vision, because if you don't know what your career vision is, how can anybody else be excited about it or excited about you?
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. I imagine a lot of applicants, those that I encounter anyway, a lot of them are kind of wrapped up in stories they've seen about attorneys on TV or in the movies. And I feel like their vision isn't really that concrete. What advice do you give to the applicants to help kind of solidify that?
Definitely. Well, first of all, I would say I watch quite a bit of legal television. My favorite show is Suits. So I totally get that. But I really encourage applicants, when they're solidifying their career vision, to get very specific about, well, when it comes to law school, where does your passion for the law come from, right? One thing I often read in people's applications is, I've loved the law since I was a child. And I'm like, no, you haven't. You didn't even know what the law was. So take a little bit more time than saying something cliche like that, and get clear on, when did you even first become aware that being a lawyer was a career option? And then what happened in your life or your schooling that made you attracted to practicing law as a career? And then this isn't something that you have to stick with forever, but what kind of lawyer do you want to be? Do you want to be do you want to focus on immigration? Do you want to focus on helping corporations? And there's a whole, under corporate law, there's a whole bunch of other categories. And it's in your essay, the more specific and clear you can be about your goals immediately out of law school, and then let's say about 5 to 10 years out, and then your ultimate goal, that is going to make it a lot easier for you to stand out from all the other applicants who are like, I'm just going to law school because I'm smart and I just graduated from college and I don't know what else to do. The one thing you should never write in your essays, because it is so cliche and oversaid, is I like to argue, or I like to debate, or I'm a strong writer. Okay, let's take that as a given that everybody applying to law school enjoys arguing, debating, logic, and whatever. What else? So it's really digging and asking yourself those deep questions. And one of the easiest ways to get those questions and good, juicy responses pulled out of you is to work with a professional who's helped people like you get into the types of schools you're looking to get into.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like you're really kind of requiring the students you work with to do this sort of soul searching to see what is really going on for them. What are their real reasons for going, not the cliches, like you said.
For sure, for sure. And in fact, and it's not that we go send them off to go meditate in the forest by themselves about this. Like, we're there with them side by side in this thinking and reflecting exercise. In fact, Steve, an important part of my job is actually really pressing people on why they really want to go to law school. It's not an acceptable answer to me that you want to go to law school and not practice law. You need to, you need to want to at least practice law for some portion of your career. I don't think I want to be a politician is a good enough reason to invest 3 years of your life and all that tuition in law school. Especially not things like, oh, I like to write. You don't need even a college degree to be a writer. And so that's also that pressing that we do helps people also understand more clearly why they want to go to law school. We actually offer for people before they work with us to have a free call. It's called a breakthrough call, where we dig really, really in depth into their motivations for going to school, what's happening in their life and their career right now, and where are they trying to go and what's standing in their way, and talking with them for an hour about how we could work together to achieve that vision. And then the result of that call is we either move forward with actually taking action on that game plan that we created, or the person decides, you know what, I'm not ready to move forward, but at least they still have that game plan. So we always invite people who are applying to law school, know that they're applying this season because they want to start school in the upcoming fall, to reach out to us and have one of those calls so we can actually ask those deep questions and start that reflection exercise.
That sounds enormously useful. And I would encourage anyone applying, watching this, listening to this, to take advantage of that breakthrough call, because it sounds like an hour of being asked tough questions, being forced to think about these things would be enormously useful.
For sure.
Awesome. Now, before we wrap up, Kaneisha, I'm wondering if you could share a little bit on optional essays and addenda, diversity statements, character and fitness, all the other stuff. How do you help folks with that?
Definitely. Well, first of all, my belief is I tend to think, let's talk about first, like, diversity statements. Everybody in some way contributes to diversity, right? So diversity does not just mean, oh, I'm LGBTQ, or I'm a woman, or I'm a person of color. No, we all contribute to diversity. So even if you're watching this and you're like, I'm the straight white guy, do I write the diversity? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because there's diversity of thought. There's diversity of lived experience. There's socioeconomic diversity. There's diversity of work experience, what you've studied, how you think. So what is it about you that's going to be different from the 10 people next to you applying? Kind of what's your, we're both millennials, Steve, and like people call us special snowflakes. What makes you a special snowflake, right? So I believe everyone should write the diversity statement. It's one more opportunity to showcase your story and your enthusiasm for going to law school and what you'll contribute to the classroom, to the academic community at large, to the extracurricular, and also to the culture of the school. So that's what I would say about that. And then for any other optional addenda, A lot of times we are dealing with law school applicants who have low LSAT scores. I'd say, I don't know, what would you consider a low score for like a prestigious school, Steve?
For a prestigious school, anything below 160.
Okay, so anything below 160, I agree. And that's almost all of our law school applicant clients tend to have below 160. Or if your GPA is, I'd say, anywhere below 3.7, 3.8. Law schools, much more than business school and policy schools. Law school, out of that cluster of professional schools, cares about the numbers way more. And so your story really matters, your essays really matter, but those numbers matter a little bit more than with other degrees. So anyway, all that said is I really encourage applicants to take advantage of any opportunities to provide more details on why your GPA is low or why your LSAT is low. And a lot of times applicants say to me, but I don't want to shine a spotlight on my weaknesses. And I'm like, it's not a spotlight. It's actually taking responsibility and showing self-awareness, because the admissions committee, you're not going to trick them into not seeing your low GPA or your low LSAT score. You should go ahead and claim it. And also, I keep saying LSAT score, and I know the show is called LSAT Unplugged, but of course, a good number of schools are now taking the GRE. So that may also be something people want to consider, is if the LSAT is just kicking your butt, like reach out to Steve and work with him on possibly considering doing the GRE instead. And I think some people find the GRE a little bit less tricky and more straightforward. And I believe law schools are a little bit more generous, and business schools as well, a little bit more forgiving with GRE scores, because I'm pretty sure GRE scores don't play into their rankings. And it's not like information they really have to report to those news outlets that then create those annual rankings. So yes, write the diversity statement and write your optional addenda.
Great advice. Thanks for that. I have my thoughts on the LSAT and GRE, but I'll save that for the next conversation.
Okay.
Well, this has been absolute pleasure, Kaneisha. Thanks for joining us. What's the best way for folks to reach you and get in touch for that free breakthrough call?
That's exactly right. So come on over to theartofapplying.com. We'll have calls to action all over the website inviting you to that free call. But if you already are 100% sure you're ready to just book it, then what we'll do first is you'll have a quick 10-minute call with my team called a quick call, just to make sure that we're talking to the right people at the right time. And so come to theartofapplying.com/breakthrough. You can fill out our form to tell us a little bit more about yourself and your application process, and then we'll invite you to book a call. You can contact us through the contact form. We're super active on Facebook. We have over 20,000 Facebook fans, so we'd love to connect with you on Facebook. And we'll be launching Instagram soon as just @theartofapplying. So we'd love to see you over on Instagram too. But the quickest, most straightforward way would probably be to just come to our website and send us a message.
Awesome, Kaneisha. Well, thanks so much for joining us. It's really been a pleasure and valuable for the listeners too.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for having me, Steve.